And if you did not receive from Nancy a second piece of paper as you walked in, you will want to see Nancy and get that second piece of paper, because we're eventually going to sing a song, and the words are on that, and the music as well. It's time for announcements. We are still in the mode of wearing our masks when we come to Church of the Oaks. But
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you please repeat it?
That was funny. Could you please repeat that?
Some of you may have noticed that article in the paper this morning says the county lifts indoor mask order for some, and included in that are religious organizations who conduct services in a place that is not generally open to the public. We meet that criteria. There is a big however. You have to make sure that everybody is vaccinated. Mere proof that you've received proof of negative COVID test is not vaccinated proof. So if we remove the mask wearing requirement here, then we would have to ask each of you to show us proof that you are vaccinated, and then we would have to take roll. Each Sunday when you show up, we would have to say, here's the people who showed up, and there's our proof that everyone's vaccinated. I'm not ready to take that jump yet. I don't know if you are either, but I'd like to bounce off you my thought that we ought to let the board of directors discuss this at our next meeting, which is the 14th of November. And in the meantime, those of you who have opinions on this can get to one of the board members and say, here's what I think you folks ought to consider. And then we will discuss all those opinions at the board meeting on the 14th and come up with a plan of action that may be continue what we're doing, or it may be let's go the route of no masks. So that's that announcement. Another announcement. How many of you tried to call anyone locally today? I called Nancy's cell phone and it said that you can't do that now. And here's another article in today's paper. The county has switched already to a 10-digit dialing for local phone numbers. So in order for me to call Nancy, I used to be able to go 669-8899. Now it's 707-696-8899. I have to put the area code first. And I tested it again, and that's how it works. Not just when I called Nancy, but any other local number. Just so you know, don't be frustrated. And if you're like me, you have a lot of local numbers pre-programmed into your phone. They won't work unless you get a 707 in front of it.
And I think, check this out, if you're calling another area code, you have to put in 1. Is that part of it also?
Oh, it says something about that. Let's see if I can find it here. Long distance calls still will need to include 1 before the area code. That's correct. So anyway, hey, you are up to date as of this morning. All right, Wednesday evening discussion group.
Not this week.
Not this week, but next week is planned?
We have to have a discussion about location.
Okay, well, we're gonna have a discussion and then we'll see about next week. So no Wednesday evening discussion group this week. Thursday morning spiritual book discussion group. Is it on this Thursday?
Yes,
It's this Thursday and it's in the hall at 7 o'clock? No, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. till noon this Thursday in the hall, and enjoy that. We have a potluck coming. If you so choose to attend, bring some food, and of course we'll have to take our masks off when we're potlucking itself, but we'll wear them when we're not. Any other announcements that I haven't covered? Okay, then I think it's time, being as we mentioned love in our opening song, let's sing one of our favorites here. I Love Myself the Way I Am, page 17 in the songbook, and it goes on to page 18 as well.
Nothing for me to change.
And it's time while we're upright to greet each other in the way that you're most comfortable doing. Hugs are fine, but hand waving is fine. Fist bumping is fine. Whatever is your comfort level, go for it.
Oh, it is? Oh. Is that something? And it didn't.
I know, but I'm gonna try to make it
All right, good. Thank Yeah, I always say this. Yeah, the tendency to speed it up.
Yeah, and it's Good morning, Debbie. Good to see you. Oh, thank you. It's perfect for the rainy day, isn't it? All the plants are going yippee. Oh, no kidding.
In case I didn't mention it before, it's time to mention it. Thank you for showing up. You are brave people. You're dedicated, and you're welcome to be here. When I was asked by somebody, how many people do I think will be there? I said, well, there should be 6. That's how many of us have a duty to perform today. So we've got more than those who had to be here. And to you, I say thank you and welcome. We're very glad to see you. All right, we've greeted each other. Now we're going to talk a little bit about abundance. And there's nobody here who's new, but it helps to remind ourselves that we don't pass the basket here because we want everyone to make their own personal decision on how much of their time, thought, treasure, and talent to share and when. So we put the basket in the back for anyone who wants to give that way to Church of the Oaks. But we invite you to share all those 4 T's with the whole community at large as well. A number of us do tithe on a monthly basis, and that's really handy for our treasurer. He knows what's coming in and how much it's going to be, and that helps us all. So let's read together the Affirmation of Abundance, and I put it into the I verbiage as opposed to the we. This is a statement. Here we go. When I truly begin to want more for others than I want for myself, I will begin to notice amazing changes in my life. Fortunate we are to have such beautiful music here, beautiful piano players, and a wonderful person taking care of our video, so thank you all. So in preparation now for the practice, we're going to do something a little different. I found in our book on page 6 the song called Dona Nobis Pacem. And this, of course, is Latin for grant us peace. Today we're talking about joy, peace, and love, so it seemed to fit. So you were handed a copy of the sheet music, and if you're comfortable singing it, please do so. If you don't really want to sing it, please say the words, either to yourself or aloud, whatever feels right for you. And in the meantime, do it peacefully.
Good morning. I couldn't resist singing harmony on that last verse because I learned that song in high school, and it still brings me back to sing it. So peaceful and beautiful. I just want to say I love the song on the back of the order of service so much, which Patrick told me used to be there every week, and this is the first one I've ever seen. And I love this line, there's a holy truth within us that no error can replace. There's a holy glow within us that nothing can erase. That's really what the practice is about right now. If you were here last week, you know that we took some time to just step into the presence together. And I really feel that that's what we're going to be doing for a number of weeks going forward, because that presence is just so rich. So take a moment and take a couple of deep breaths to center yourself. And as you do so, begin to call in the presence of God as you experience that. Thinking to yourself something like, "Beloved, come. Beloved, come. Maranatha. Beloved, come." Continue to say that silently to yourself as you breathe the next minute or two. Beloved, come. I encourage you to bring this presence with you when you leave, to continue this practice on your own. Every day, every time you can think of it. The sound of the rain is a beautiful cleansing sound, beautiful washing away. Just let it in. Beloved, come. And so it is.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Debbie, for the whipped cream on top of the pumpkin pie. Recently, I was involved in a conversation with a couple of our members about this church, the people in it, the messages we share, and possible improvements. And those discussions were quite informative, but the main thing I got from those discussions, the conversation, was a reaffirmation of why, or the main reason, I found this sanctuary and keep coming back. Natalie Dole was the person who said the words that really connected with me, but she didn't make them up. She quoted from the top of your order of service, the final sentence. May all who come here, regardless of their spiritual philosophies, feel the presence. That has been there on the top of our order of service ever since I started coming. And you'll hear later, that's been a couple of years. Feel the presence. That is such a welcoming phrase. And I'm certain that all of you who do come here do in fact feel that presence most all the time you come, and maybe from the first moment you walk in the door. When I come through the back door and I see that Namaste banner, I feel the presence. As we sang in our opening song, I feel the presence of joy, And it does have mighty power. And there is a holy hush. And when I look around, I do see glory in each face. The presence of joy is here. The presence of peace, I do feel its loving power whenever I come here. And when we sang that song, it really felt powerful. And love. We feel love's tender power every time we greet each other, every time we come here, every time we sing of love. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Or, no, not or, I need to find my place here. Hold on 1 second. In order to actually feel that presence, we must be fully present in the present moment to feel the presence now. Thich Nhat Hanh says, and I quote, "When we are mindful, deeply in touch with the present moment, our understanding of what is going on deepens, and we begin to be filled with acceptance, joy, peace, and love." We didn't make up those words. We use them because they're very pertinent. Sometimes we get lost in our own thoughts at home or even here in church. I found a short poem that I discovered just the other day. It's by Jason Lehman, and I want to read it to you. It's called Present Tense. It was spring, but it was summer. I wanted the warm days and the great outdoors. It was summer, but it was fall I wanted, the colorful leaves and the cool, dry air. It was fall, but it was winter I wanted, the beautiful snow and the joy of the holiday season. It was winter, but it was spring I wanted, the warmth and the blossoming of nature. I was a child, but it was adulthood I wanted, the freedom and respect. I was 20, but it was 30 I wanted, to be mature and sophisticated. I was middle-aged, but it was 20 I wanted, the youth and the free spirit. I was retired, but it was middle age I wanted, the presence of mind without limitations. My life was over, and I never got what I wanted. I always wanted something that wasn't present. That's powerful. That poem really rings true with me. And listen to what Rumi has to say about this. It's a very short poem. Rumi says, "Look past your thoughts so you may drink the pure nectar of this moment." I want to say that one again. Look past your thoughts so you may drink the pure nectar of this moment. Maybe we need to quiet our minds through meditation or prayer, or by consciously concentrating on what you see now or on what is happening now. And the final words that I found from imhappy.com on being fully present in the present moment. It's titled, "I Choose Now." I choose to live in the only moment where there is life, the present moment. I choose to let go of the chains of the past and to instead let the present determine my future. I choose to seek the gift of now. I choose to live now. I choose to love now. I choose now. Now, let me share with you a little history about that opening song that you mentioned, "Surely the Presence." When I first heard that song, it was in 1984. I must have been a very young man, maybe 37 years ago. I was fairly young. At the time, Nancy and I were living in Truckee, and we started attending the Methodist church there because a friend asked me to join their small choir. They needed a bass voice, And eventually I wound up playing the piano as well and directing that small choir. But the first time we went in there, they had the first song of the day in the great old Methodist hymnal. I was once going to be a Methodist minister, by the way back when. But anyway, I didn't make that. And so they sang as their opening song, "Surely the presence of the Lord." Well, we found out that those words in the hymn, a lot of the words worked, some of them didn't, but the music resonated. So we adopted that when I went down to Las Vegas. It was adopted before I got there. 1985, we moved from Truckee to Las Vegas. We started attending the Teaching of the Inner Christ, a metaphysical church that I hope it's still operating. And the first Sunday we went there, they sang, you guessed it, "Surely the presence of God is in this place." Slight modification, pretty much the same song. It was the same song, slight change of words. And then when I first arrived here, August 8th, 2010. So that's, 11 years ago. I've been here for 11 years, folks. It seemed like yesterday when we first arrived. But the first morning we walked in, the first song that you sang, "Surely the presence of God is in this place." Over the years, the words continue to change. I think they improve. I think they become more generic, they become more philosophical, they become more spiritual. They're not tied to any particular religion. So each time when Patrick asked me to run the service for him, I would bring that song out of retirement because Vivian Clark had retired it. She got tired of it, and she retired it because it was not showing the metaphysical spirit that she was looking for. But I resurrected it, I guess you could say, when each time I got to come up here and run the service, and we would start with that song, and I started revising the words, and each time I revised them, it got better. I think it got better. And this time, Patrick and I got together, and he said, "It's still not there. Do something." So I did. And I changed them to what you see now. These words, I think, capture our spirit a lot more closely than it ever has before. So I intend for us to be using this a lot more often in the future. So we sing about the presence in this place of joy, peace, and love, which are all present here at all times. We don't even have to mention God in the singing, or spirit, or the divine, or the unknown, because God, spirit, the divine, the unknown, co-create with us the presence that we feel here. We sing about power, grace, glory, truth, and a holy glow that nothing can erase. I love those words. Most of them were there before I started messing with it. So when you think about it, we at Church of the Oaks cannot be limited to feeling the presence only when we're here. It's so easy to feel that here because it's a lovely spot with lovely people, even on a rainy day. But we don't need it only on Sunday mornings. So I ask this, what stops us? What stops me from feeling that presence at other times in other places? In my mind, the only answer to that question is my mind. When I'm all away from here, I let my mind help to create a different feeling of tension, of responsibility, of concern, of worry, of anger, whatever. My mind directs me in that direction. Perhaps out there, I could choose to feel differently if I put my mind to it, to look for that joy, that peace, and that love, to express it, and to help create it wherever I am. And I'm equally certain that we here cannot possibly have a monopoly on the ability to feel the presence. We're special, but we should not be unique. If we look for it wherever we go, if we don't initially feel that presence in the presence of other people, perhaps we can help create and spread that feeling by sharing our peace, our joy, our love with all who we meet. Before we sing our final song, I'm going to ask you to help me conclude this message together by standing and singing again, Surely the Presence. It's on the back of your order of service. And I know that Debbie will find the music shortly, and we will sing Surely the Presence. And please pay close attention to the words. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory in each face. Surely the presence of joy is in this place. Surely the presence of peace is in this place. I can feel its something power and its grace. There's a holy gentleness that will hear the daily place. Surely the presence of peace is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel the tender power and its grace. There's a holy pride in us that the night can erase. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Now that we've enjoyed joy, peace, and love, let's conclude this joyful time with a joyful rendition of If I Had a Hammer. Boy, would things be different.